Hello everyone, it's Mr. Cinema Junkie. I'm here to talk about some movies. Not so much a review, just talking about some movies that I've seen that I really liked. I guess it would be kind of a review. Depends how you look at it. First movie I just finished watching was Eastern Promises. Now this had been recommended to me by a few really cool guys on here, and it was very powerful. I was not expecting to see what I saw here. Uh, didn't know it was directed by David Cronenberg, but it's not that surreal type of feel that his movies usually have. This was pretty down to earth. It stars what's his name, Viggo Mortensen. He was in a History of Violence. Um, he's the member of a Russian mob family. The movie starts off with it kicks right off into high gear. There's a guy in a barber shop, and he gets snuffed out, pretty ugly, razor across the throat kind of stuff. I thought it just started off on a strong note. Then it leads into a girl going into a pharmacy asking for help, and she's hemorrhaging everywhere. She's taken to the hospital, and she's pregnant. The baby is in distress, so they have to do an emergency C-section, and the girl winds up dying. Well, one of the nurses who was in attendance, I shouldn't say nurse. She may have been a doctor. That's very sexist of me, and I'm sorry. Anyway, this broad, she, no, the one of the people who were in attendance in the surgery goes through her belongings and finds a diary. In the diary, the girl goes on to tell how she wound up where she was at, and she tells that a few other choice details she finds out after she has her uncle translate the diary for her. The uncle goes on to tell her that the girl was 14 and that she was raped by the head of the Russian mob family. So now she's on a quest to right a wrong and to find this girl's family. Meanwhile, the Russian mob boss, an old man, is trying to get hold of the diary so he can destroy it and cut any connections with the crime that he's committed. Later on, there's a vengeance killing because of the assassination that the movie started off in, and they're after the mob boss's son now. In doing this, the mob boss decides to make Viggo Mortensen, who is just a driver at this point, he's kind of like the assistant to the son. He decides to make him part of the gang. Well, basically what he's doing, he's setting him up. So in the scene where he's fighting these people who are trying to kill him, it gets real personal because he's doing without a stitch of clothing. He's in a bathhouse, and he's fighting these guys butt naked. Now you got to give it up to a guy who can carry on a fight scene wearing no clothes. Okay, but I do have to say that about 30% of that fight I really didn't see too well because I kept focusing my attention to the corner of the screen, because if I didn't, I was going to see more of Viggo Mortensen than I ever wanted to see in my life. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a guy, okay? There's nothing he has that I don't have, and I've seen it all. It's just, there's some things you don't want to see, all right? I've seen plenty of porn. I've seen plenty of, nudity, but it's just something unnerving about that. There's one camera angle that if I hadn't glanced up and to the left, like Kennedy in the limousine, back and to the right or something, I'd have got just a straight asshole shot, and that's not something I need embedded in my head. Okay? Don't need it. Don't want it. No thank you. The blood and the violence, I have no problem with. Male sphincters, I'm not really too keen on. Now you know. Anyways, the movie, telling any more about this movie is going to give away some really strong plot points and some really good story twists. So at this point, I'm going to stop talking about the movie and just tell you that I highly, highly recommend you see this movie. It's just very strong, very well done, quite powerful, and actually, according to the little Netflix envelope that I'm reading his name off of, he was nominated for an Oscar for his role in this movie. Viggo Mortensen was. So yeah, very, very good movie. Excellent. You know, check it out if you get the chance. Eastern Promises. Next movie I want to talk about is one that you've heard Chris, aka Mr. Ramon 420, talk about. This is my own short take on that movie. I just saw this one maybe about a week or so ago, and it is The Life and Death of a Porno Gang. This was what I expected and then what I didn't expect. Let me explain. I've heard a lot of. I went online and I checked out some information on the movie, and a lot of people compare it to a Serbian film. The biggest comparison is, surprise, it's from Serbia. It does have some very powerful imagery in it. It does have some very strong imagery in it. It does deal with pornography. It does deal with death in pornography. But I can't. That's pretty much where the comparisons lie. Two totally different stories. Two very different stories. Do I like one better than the other? No. No. I have to treat them both separately. Do I like them both? Most definitely. This was, to me, I've heard some people actually say, "Oh, it's like a Serbian film, but with a no script and less money." And it's like, no, that's not it at all. To me, it's just a completely solid story, in my opinion. Let me see if I remember names. The only name I really remember is like the lead character, Marco. There was also one, I think, Sika. I think that was the name, transvestite. Not really good with the names right now. But here's the gist of the story. Marco is an aspiring filmmaker. He wants to make a horror movie, I believe. He wants to start off by making a horror movie, but the people who are in charge of letting him make the movie don't see any profit in it. I think it's his dad. His dad has connections with movie makers, or he owns a studio. I don't really remember. I know he has something to do with movies, but his dad's like, no, or his dad's friend told him, no, the horror movies are not good. And he shows a whole, like an idea, like a run through of one of his ideas. And it's about some weed or something that looks like marijuana, but it has like toxins in it, and or it grows from this guy's semen. Yeah, I think that's it. The guy is dry humping the dirt in the earth because it didn't give forth crops, and he comes in the dirt, and it grows this plant, and then this hippie picks it, and everyone thinks it's weed, so they start smoking it. They go into a full-blown orgy, and this is just like straight pornographic time. Okay, we're talking Brown Bunny here, all right? Full-on penetration. And then zombies come in from withdrawals from the weed, but they don't want to make this movie. He meets up and associates himself with a pornographer. I think his name was Kane. I'm not exactly sure about that. But he starts making these porno movies and stuff, and shooting porno movies. Along the line, he I think he uses the guy's money for something else. The guy fronts him money to make a porno, but he uses it for something else and doesn't give him his money back. So now the guy's pissed. He wants his cash. Marco decides he's going to put on a live sex show. It's going to be porno art. And it's like a cabaret kind of pornographic deal where they show things on stage, and in the background they've got the film running with like full-on hardcore gay and heterosex going on in there. Well, the place gets raided because that pornographer's brother is a cop, so they pull the plug on them. Well, he decides he's going to get a gang of people together, and these people are all people that used to work with the pornographer, which is another thing that pisses off the pornographer, is that he's stealing his actors and actresses from them. They decide to take their show on the road, and they do live shows in these different towns. Well, they get run off by one town because they say their show is filthy, which leads to a very, very bizarre and very unnerving scene where these old village men who first run them off find them all later, and they rape everybody. Men and women get raped in this scene. The only ones who seem to get a kick out of it is the gay couple that's in that deal. I mean, they like the one of the guys starts laughing about it, and it makes everybody else laugh about it, and it leaves all the old men confused. But that was a very strong and very unnerving scene. Kind of reminded me of Deliverance. Yeah. So they continue on with their performance. They go to another town. They do their live show. They have generators and lights, and they set it up in the woods, and people are checking it out and stuff. Well, he meets I believe he was a reporter. He used to report news from the fronts of wars and such. I'm trying to remember the guy's name. Can't do it. I'm telling you, it's been like over a week since I've seen it. I don't remember most of the names in this movie. But the guy wants to have a meeting with him. The reporter, journalist, I should say, wants to have a meeting with Marco, and he talks to him, and he starts showing him clips of movies of stuff he shot while he was doing the news and reporting and stuff, and they show executions and things like that. And he said there are people out there that will pay to see these kinds of things. And that's when he presents him with the idea of making snuff movies. This is where the movie took a turn that really piqued my interest. I was like, okay, now the ball's rolling. Now I see what's going on. But the way they went about it was really different. It wasn't like, kidnap somebody, put them in front of a camera and cut their throat and stuff like that. These people actually volunteered to be killed. One guy just seemed like he had mental problems, and he was cutting himself up with a razor, and he cut his own throat. They didn't kill him. No, he cut his throat and was laying on the ground. As he was laying on the ground, one of the gay guys started bashing his head in with a pipe. So I guess he did have a hand in it. Have a hand in him dying. But they video the whole thing. They tape the whole thing, and the guy's giving them large quantities of money. So they're living good finally, but they're not really feeling too good about the whole killing thing. Another guy, they kill him because he's dying of cancer. He volunteers for it so he can give money to his family. His family gets the money, but he's dying of cancer, and he talks about stuff that he did in the war. He was a soldier, and they wind up bashing his head in. And then there's an old man, a farmer, who wants to do this because they want to get some treatment for their granddaughter. She's deformed from radioactivity, and they found a doctor that might be able to help her, so they're going to use the money for that. So the old man decides, yeah, go ahead and kill me on video. But before anything happens, the place is busted. They're doing a live snuff show for some high-paying people, but the place gets raided, and they don't go through with it. Everybody starts breaking up. Everybody starts leaving. They're deciding they've become unnerved, and some of them start dropping off. One of them, I'm trying to remember. One of them died from... Did he die of AIDS? I know the gay couple had AIDS. I think one guy died of AIDS, and then the other guy inadvertently killed himself, and then the transvestite was sick and died as well. People started dropping. Later on, Marco meets up with that pornographer that wants his money, but he goes in there with a set of balls and a gun, and he lays it out to him. And when he goes in there, his cop brother is sodomizing one of the dudes that was in the porno gang, and they're videoing it. They're doing a video of it. Well, he shoots the cop, and but not before the guy gets his throat cut, so he's dying. And he shoots the guy, the pornographer. Everybody's getting killed in this movie. It ends on a pretty bleak note, but the whole movie overall, I'm really not doing the movie justice, I have to tell you. Because the movie overall is just, it is really strong, really powerful. There was one scene in there that kind of made me go, oh. And Mr. Ramon 420 will know exactly what scene I'm talking about. I've got 2 words to say. That's all I'm going to say. Inflatable pig. Anyways. Yeah. Definitely check this out. The Life and Death of a Porno Gang. If you've seen a Serbian film and liked it at all, you may very well like this one as well. Hit for hit, I'd have to say Serbian film had a couple more shocking scenes, a little more shocking scenes than Life and Death did. But Life and Death by no means is to be put on the back burner. Okay, it is a really, really awesome film. I'm just wondering how many films are going to come out of Serbia now along the same themes. Well, they did it, we can do it too. I'm just saying, you know. Remember the influx of J-horror movies? We might see an influx of Serbian movies. And they all might be about the same thing, sex and death. I'm all for it. Bring it on. And the third movie, and this is Cheese Fest time. Oh, do you like your movies extra cheesy? Do you like them dripping with cheese? Do you like the 3 cheese combo? I got it right here, man. It's a Blu-ray I just recently picked up, and I just watched it yesterday out of sheer boredom. I knew what I was getting myself into. I swear I did. And then at the same time, I still sat there going, come on. I'm talking about Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. That's the name of the movie. Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. I thought I was in for some Oscar-worthy performances. For God's sake, it stars Debbie Gibson. Anyways, here's the quick rundown of that movie. Debbie Gibson is a marine biologist or some such shit. I don't know. But she has something to do with the water. She's in a mini sub. They're looking at the whales. They're like, oh, look at the whales. Hey, wait a minute. Look at all these whales. Whoa, wait a minute. There's a lot of whales. I mean, there's a herd of these things. And they're all coming in. I guess it'd be a school of them. But I'm thinking, when I think of a school, I think of little fish. These are big, gigantic-ass whales. And they're all swimming towards the mini sub like crazy. She's like, what's going on here? The guy that's helping her steer the ship and stuff is saying, oh. Then they find this little beacon, this little flashing beacon, which is like a sonar deal that that the military or someone dropped in there, and they're not supposed to be using it, but it's driving the whales crazy. And they're throwing themselves into an ice glacier, into the wall of a glacier, killing themselves. In doing that, they rupture this ice wall. And behind the ice wall, or the block of ice that's down there in the water, is the mega shark and the giant octopus, who, after millions of years being frozen in ice, spring to life and swim off. And then all hell breaks loose. The idea behind the movie is not, well, I can't say it's great, but it's good old-fashioned cheesy monster movie fun. The thing that killed it is the scenes in it that are just so blatantly computer generated. It's like there's no mistaking that. There's no way of saying like, wow, that looked real. It does not look real. Not in the slightest bit. You have to give it up for a bunch of people who are reacting to nothing, throwing themselves around and stuff in a ship that's being hit by nothing. But yeah, it's the computer animation is too fast, too quick, too clean, too everything. But there's a really cool scene, for what it's worth, of the mega shark jumping out of the water and snatching an airplane out of the sky. That was kind of neat. And then the giant octopus takes down an entire oil rig. I mean, it wraps its arms all over the sucker. So it's a pretty big octopus. There were some parts that kind of bugged me. They get Debbie Gibson and her professor and another guy from Japan together. These great oceanographic scientists. I don't even know if that's a real word. I'm making up shit now. But they get them together to try and figure out a way to solve this problem. And you see them mixing shit, and they're mixing little chemicals together, and they're like, oh, every time they mix something that doesn't do anything, oh. You know, I mean, I don't know how they figured it didn't work just by looking at it, but obviously in this movie that's what they had to do. So Debbie Gibson and the Japanese scientists wind up bumping uglies. And yeah, right in the middle of it, for no damn reason. They go, hey, the ocean is my home. I like water too. I'm going for a walk. The next thing you know, they're throwing each other up against machinery, and they're just going at it like Electric Youth. Anyways, after that, I guess the smell of sex was in the air. You know that smell? It's like cat food and ass. And they're sitting there saying, oh yeah, you know, people are attracted by pheromones. That's how they know that's how they know they're made for each other. That's why. And Debbie Gibson goes, and he goes, pheromones. And the Japanese guy goes, that my walk. So they go and they start mixing pheromones together. And they say the pheromones will attract the octopus into one bay and the shark into another bay. And they're going to contain it like a great big cage in this bay. One's San Francisco and the other is in Japan. So they mix this stuff, and then you realize why they're making all these disappointed faces when they mix stuff together, because apparently pheromones glow. Did you know that? I didn't know that. God damn. But that's what happened. They put it in there and it turned bright green. They go, so it's like, all right, good for you. So they'd start dropping the pheromones out and stuff, but then basically what they do is they make them mad and horny. They don't contain the shark. The shark eats the San Francisco bridge. I mean, like a big chunk of the bridge just eats it. And then they go on like full military maneuvers. There's submarines. The octopus comes by and starts hitting all the submarines like bat, 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 and he knocks them all out and kills everybody. And but then the shark and the octopus go at it and start fighting. The shark bites off his arm. The octopus wraps his arms around the shark. They just battle and battle. And they finally just wind up wiping each other out. And the professor says, I guess they finished what they started 100 million years ago. Okay. Should have just let them fucking battle it out to begin. You should have just hit the octopus with the pheromones and made the shark go to him in the first place. I don't care how bad octopus is. He's going to run from a shark trying to screw him. But yeah, it's just basic cheesy goodness. I mean, you really have to suspend a lot of disbelief here. If you ever saw like Mega Piranha, those are the kind of graphics I'm talking about. They don't even try to make it look like it's real. They just like, here's some water, let's throw some computer animated fish in there. But I paid $5 for the Blu-ray, so the title and the price just gave it all away. I knew I wasn't in for The Godfather here, okay? I knew this was going to be something I was going to be like, oh, jeez. But, hey, you know, if you're into all that, like Sharktopus, hey, go for it. You can't, you know, they can't all be Oscar nominees, man. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I picked that up for $5 at Target. You know, if you happen to be at a Target and you see it there, $5, grab it. Grab it. Add to your Blu-ray collection. Hell, buy it as a Christmas gift. Buy it as a gag gift for birthdays. Why not? It's a Blu-ray. Most people would just be happy with that. You know, oh, you got me a Blu-ray? Yes, I did. Well, that felt good. Just talking about movies. I'm going to do more of that. You guys take it easy. Hope you got something out of all that rambling. I know this was a long video. But hey, I can upload more than 15 minutes now, so I might as well take advantage of it, right? Okay, brothers and sisters, as my good friend there would say, or boys and girls, as Pepper Dork would say. Now I'll stop. I'm copying everybody's. Taglines now. You guys take it easy. I'll be talking to you soon.